get started. After reviewing the tape, spent a lot of hours analyzing where we're at. The game played out exactly how I thought it would. It was going to be a hard-fought game, probably come down to a play or two here or there. I thought Tulsa's a good football team. I think we're a good football team. We battled, but we did start out fast, and that's been a point of emphasis. So that was positive. But we certainly had a long period of time where we just couldn't get much going offensively. You know, we changed quarterbacks and tried to go through our playlist. I think we came up with some good answers, and it was good to have Sean back in there. I thought when he came back in, we had a little bit of a spark. Certainly it was a physical game. We've got quite a few guys that are banged up. Some status of some guys has been determined, but some of it's going to be almost up until game time decision. So we're sitting at 3-1. We started conference play. UNLV's had a bye week. Coach Sanchez does a great job with their program. I know they came off I thought was really an excellent performance against Northwestern, and they came up a little bit short, but we're anticipating a great effort by our players, and hopefully, I really want to say thanks once again to all the Wyoming fans that showed up down in Tulsa. I thought we had a great contingent, and I know we've had great crowd support, and so hopefully we have another great home showing by our fans. So at this time, I'll open up to any questions anybody may have. Yes?
You have an update on Logan Harris, and then I saw some other guys.
Yeah, I think Logan Harris, unless something miraculously happens, he's going to be fine. But he had a concussion, and everything else was cleared, but he's still a little bit behind from anything to where we would think we'd have him this week. I think also Alonzo Velasquez will not play this week unless something does change between now and this afternoon. The initial response I got, I think he's getting an MRI. They're going to check on his knee, and we'll see how that goes. Tyler Hall did have a concussion, but he's going through the protocol. We'll find out a little bit more. We may have him back, and so I think that's maybe there's Trey Smith will be out for, I would say, 6 to 8 weeks. So
that ankle?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. Other questions? Okay.
After watching the video, the secondary's still giving up a lot of plays and a lot of yards. What do you think's been their biggest bugaboo, I guess, and especially with so much pressure from the defensive line and linebacker?
Well, we've had a couple busts that we're going to continue to clean up. Last year we had some really experienced safeties, and we've got some younger guys, but I think that they're making some plays. However, there were too many big plays that happened, particularly on the last drive. I do think the Tulsa quarterback is an excellent quarterback. After a while we did generate some pressure, but we were out on the field too long. I think we got fatigued. And there's a couple things. First of all, we need to look at what we can do defensively to get off the field. I think there was a stretch during the course of the game where we were not coming up with stops. And then on the flip side, offensively, we need to stay up. There was a long period of time where we just weren't moving the football. So I think fatigue came into play. We're thin at those spots, but the guys are battling. What has become apparent is our takeaways have dropped, and I talked to the defensive staff for a team to throw the ball 50 times and for us not to have an interception. I think unacceptable would be maybe too strong of words, but certainly not to our liking. We've got to be better ball hawks and come up with the football. The quarterback, like I said, was good, but we need to come up with a couple more picks, and I think that'll have an impact on changing field position. Yes.
Sort of following up on that, you guys are top 5 nationally in sacks. So how do you balance, I guess, bringing pressure with the risk on the back end if you don't get there sometimes?
Some of it is the type of pressures that you dial up. There's all kinds of different pressures that you do have. What was encouraging was we were able to get into, our up package where you see a lot of guys up on the line of scrimmage and then doing a lot of different things, and that poses problems with offensive linemen and opposing quarterbacks. thought during the course of this game, we were able to get to that a lot more. But you get into, are you gonna have a single high safety to protect the middle of the field? Are you gonna get into zero pressure? Are you gonna get into bringing 5 and 3 men underneath in zone concept? So there's all those different things, and we weigh those things out before we call them. Yes.
Coach, can you talk about what you're looking for on the right side of your offensive line? I mean, Logan and Alonzo played a lot in their careers here. So what do you look for with guys stepping into those roles with Patrick and Frank?
Frank and Patrick are guys, Patrick has played more than Frank. We've worked those guys in practice. We're gonna need to get some consistency, movement at the line of scrimmage, and then we've gotta be able to protect our quarterback too. And so, kind of a trifecta there. We feel confident with those guys. It's gonna be their opportunity. Frank played quite a bit in the game, and so did Patrick. And so it's gonna be their opportunity. One of the reasons why we try to build depth is for these times right now. Yes.
Did you almost see a new offensive team when Sean re-entered the game? Did they almost have a different aspect to them or whatever, where they really...
You're dang right. That was a decision, that was a decision I made. We needed to shake things up. I thought there was complacency. You try different things, but there was a message sent. This is not all on our quarterback. If we're taking him out, that's a message to everybody. We better get our butt in gear. And, Sean didn't like being pulled out, and that's okay. This is not about saving people's feelings, but, I think he and I had a good conversation afterwards, and there was no doubt that our offense got a little bit re-energized, and we need that. We need to play on a sharp edge. When you look at margins for victories in this game coming up, just like the last one, they're close margins. And, 3-1, that sounds okay. 3 more yards, we're 4-0, and that's what we're striving for.
Do you think that did a lot for Sean's confidence that fourth quarter? Or
I
getting back?
I think a couple things helped Sean. First of all, the way he started out the game, that's the Sean that I have seen. And then, to be pulled and then have another quarterback inserted and then be reinserted and then come up with some big plays. I think that's an indication that, he's got confidence. The thing that I'd like for people to realize, though, is he played 2.5 quarters last year. I mean, we have a young redshirt freshman quarterback, and maybe because of some of the success and our hopes, we're thinking, okay, we've got the next Josh Allen, who's played a lot of football, and he's not there yet, but he's getting there, and certainly the experience for him to come back. I also think the last play is an experience for him. Ball security. You're making a play, but you gotta tuck that ball away, and so he's gonna learn from that as well. Yes, Kevin.
Coach, could you make a comment on Solomon's performance at defensive end?
Solomon Bird, he had a high ankle sprain, and the more that he's interjected, we have what's called a factor score when a guy goes in and what kind of a factor score he has, and he's got one of the best factor scores on the football team, and so he's disruptive. He plays hard. Most of the time he's in the right spot, not always, but we think he's got a really bright future, and it's been good to have him out there. By the way, we do think we'll have Josiah Hall this week. We'll know a little bit more as we go.
For your number 3 back, do you stick with Brett? Do you address Alfonso? What's sort of the plan?
Well, a lot of that's going to be a work in progress. We'll know a little bit more. I just had a long conversation with Gordy. So I would venture to say we'll address Alfonso. How much he'll play, I don't know. Some of it's going to come back to how X responds. He's had an ankle sprain. We played him some, but he wasn't himself. And then we'll just see how the whole grouping shakes out. But we're concerned about that spot.
Halliburton seems to be extending himself a little bit more this year. I mean, visibly at least. Have you seen a lot of growth in him in his situation?
He's a tackling machine. And during that game too, we exposed him out in space one-on-one, and we thought he performed really well. And he is an experienced player. Rome is inexperienced, but Halliburton is, and so it's been great to see him out there. I don't know how many tackles he has down right now, but he's got a bunch, and he keeps on mixing it up out there. Now, he's banged up, but he keeps on practicing, and he'll be serviceable, more than serviceable this Saturday. Yes.
Coach, the growth of Chad Muma has been pretty impressive. What have you seen out of that kid?
Chad, first of all, he's very bright. He's been able to play both positions, Mike and Will, which is not easy. And so we've been able to insert him. He's been playing probably in the upper 20s per game, and when he sees something, he goes. He's not timid. He really makes a great effort to try to get to the football, and it's been good to have him out there. We think that the long-term outlook for him is really excellent. Yes, Dave.
Because Armani Rogers, does he remind you at all of Kelly Bryant with his size, his skill set?
I think he's rangier than Kelly.
Yeah.
He does possess excellent speed, and he's 6'5",
Yeah.
and so we've got our hands full with him. He's a heavily recruited player out of high school. Also, that combined with Williams, I think Williams is an excellent running back. Those two pose a big challenge for us. As you can see, I'm kind of nursing a cold and also yelling a lot Saturday, but thanks for bearing with me a little bit there. Yes.
How healthy is X? Do you expect him to?
I think he'll be 100%. Yeah. And we're going to need him to be 100%. Okay.